The bullet didn't just kill him at Erasedim. It entered through the bridge of his nose, shattered his right eye, and ended the life of one of the most dangerous men in American history in less than a second. For 75 years, the truth behind that trigger pull stayed buried under money, fear, and silence. But now, mob insiders, declassified files, and vanishing witnesses tell a very different story, one that rewrites everything we thought we knew about Bugsy Siegel-And's death. On the night of June 20th, 1947, Benjamin Bugsy Siegel was sitting comfortably in a plush armchair inside the Beverly Hills home of his girlfriend, Virginia Hill. She wasn't there. She had conveniently flown to Paris just days earlier, a detail that would haunt investigators for decades. Siegel was sharply dressed, wearing a white silk shirt and light trousers, casually reading the newspaper. He looked relaxed, almost relieved. Then the window exploded. An unknown gunman crept up outside and fired a high-powered rifle through partially opened Venetian blinds. 9 shots rang out. 2 tore into Siegel's head, others ripped through his chest and lungs. 1 bullet smashed through a decorative statue behind him. The shot that mattered most entered his face and exited through his eye, killing him instantly. And then, nothing. No screams. No neighbors. No witnesses. The rifle was later found, wiped clean of fingerprints. The house wasn't ransacked. No struggle. No Charles. Just a perfectly executed hit, carried out with surgical precision. This wasn't a crime of passion. It was an execution. What made it even stranger was what police already knew. According to declassified FBI material and mob historian accounts, the LAPD had an informant near Siegel's inner circle. That informant warned of rising tensions between Siegel and his East Coast partners, especially over the Flamingo Hotel in Las Vegas. Siegel had promised glamour, profits, and a new criminal frontier. Instead, when the Flamingo opened in December 1946, it hemorrhaged money. Hundreds of thousands vanished. Reports were delayed. Books didn't add up. Behind closed doors, whispers spread that Siegel was skimming. Worse, that he was moving money overseas. One unverified but persistent theory claimed funds were being routed into Swiss accounts using couriers connected to Virginia Hill. And hours before his death, Siegel dined with close associates, laughing, relaxed, even optimistic. One witness recalled him saying, "The heat's over. Vegas is turning around." In hindsight, those words sound less like confidence and more like a man who didn't realize his sentence had already been signed. Some believe the house itself was bugged, mob installed, listening devices, recordings that were allegedly destroyed in the 1950s. If Siegel said something that night, if he named names, it never surfaced. And then came the silence. One of the most disturbing aspects of Segal's murder, Ice and Tea, how clean the hit was. It's what happened next. Witnesses vanished. Informants recanted. Suspects died in unrelated but suspicious circumstances. It was as if the moment Siegel died, a countdown began for anyone who knew too much. Take Alan Smiley. He was sitting just feet away from Siegel when the bullets came through the window. One round even clipped his coat sleeve, yet he walked away unharmed, calm/collected. When questioned, Smiley claimed he dove to the floor and saw nothing. Mob insiders later alleged Smiley was placed there intentionally to keep Siegel seated, distracted, and still. Smiley was never charged. Never charged. He disappeared from public view. Then there was Frankie Carbo, a feared mob enforcer, later known in boxing circles. Some historians believe Carbo helped oversee the cleanup, intimidating witnesses, silencing locals, and making sure detectives didn't dig too deep. The lead LAPD investigator on the case was suddenly reassigned and later left law enforcement entirely. Paid off, threatened, or worse, no one knows. Even Virginia Hill's brother, who reportedly knew details about Siegel's financial dealings, died in a mysterious car crash just 3 months later. No witnesses, no charges. His autopsy remained sealed for years. And then there were the files. For decades, crucial documents, ballistics reports, witness statements, financial records were missing. When fragments finally resurfaced under Freedom of Information requests in the late 1990s, entire sections were heavily redacted. Federal agencies cited national security concerns. National security. over a mob hit. By the time Siegel was buried, Las Vegas was still a dusty desert town. But within a year of his death, the Flamingo suddenly turned profitable. Mob money flooded in. Casinos, hotels, unions, everything fell under East Coast control. It was as if Siegel's body became the foundation stone of a criminal empire. One chilling theory suggests Siegel was never meant to survive Vegas. He was the front man. Charismatic, flashy, close to Hollywood, the perfect public face, while real power waited in the shadows. Build the city, then remove the builder. According to later testimony, Meyer Lansky and Frank Costello had already planned to rotate management. Once the Flamingo stabilized, and there was another problem. Siegel wanted out. One informant claimed Siegel was talking about breaking away from the traditional mob hierarchy and ruling Vegas himself. In organized crime, ambition without permission is treason, and treason is paid for in blood. After his death, Gus Greenbaum took over the Flamingo and turned it around almost overnight. He had previously avoided Vegas entirely until Siegel was gone. Some believe Greenbaum was promised protection and profits if he stepped in at the right moment. Hollywood, meanwhile, went quiet. Bugsy Siegel wasn't just a gangster. He was Hollywood's gangster. Actors, producers, studio executives, many knew him personally. George Raft, a childhood friend, openly associated with him. Others benefited quietly from his money. But after the murder, no one talked. Private investigators hired by studio heads reportedly tried to uncover the truth, not for justice, but fear. If someone like Siegel could be eliminated so cleanly, no one was untouchable. Then there's the file that vanished. In the early 2000s, a former FBI archivist leaked the existence of a classified file known as Operation Hummingbird, allegedly detailing Siegel's murder, offshore finances, and the people responsible. By the time journalists requested it, the file was gone. Not sealed, not classified. Gone. Former agents later claimed the file carried an internal code usually reserved for foreign intelligence operations, not domestic homicide. If true, it suggests Siegel's death intersected with early intelligence dealings, money laundering, and Cold War shadow networks. And finally, the Flamingo itself. Original blueprints referenced underground rooms that never appeared in public records. Subterranean vaults, deadened hallways, electrical systems that bypassed city grids. Contractors later claimed Siegel told them, "This place ain't just for blackjack, it's a vault." Some believe the Flamingo wasn't just laundering money but secrets, people, and power. The most explosive theory of all centers on Switzerland. A declassified treasury memo references a dormant Swiss account opened in 1946 under an alias tied to Siegel. Transfers traced back to Havana, New York, and Sicily. Names connected to mob financiers, intelligence brokers, black market currency. The theory is simple and terrifying. Bugsy Siegel may have been collecting leverage, evidence, insurance, iftra tene. He could expose everything, and that made him too dangerous to live. If that's true, then Siegel wasn't killed for stealing money. He was killed for knowing too much. And that secret was worth covering up for 75 years.